So I'm home from spring break and I just watched a video from Comic Book Girl 19 on Cinefix talking about her reactions to Justice League movie rumors and everything. And I'm really I have a lot of mixed feelings about just a Justice League movie, but my mind suddenly started to wander to two things, or two things I can pick out. One was just the concept of justice, and then two was, of course, the medium for a Justice League movie. One thing Comic Book Girl 19 said that just simply got me thinking was she shares a lot of views that a lot of fans, DC Comics fans, probably have, which is because over the years and because of now, Justice League and Superman and Wonder Woman and Batman being such divine, air quotes, such divine characters, or even the Justice League characters or DC Comics characters, I think they're all now just looked at as like a modern day pantheon of like Greek gods and things like that because of how almost immortal these characters seem. Comic Book Girl 19 and a lot of fans worry that Justice League and DC Comics characters won't translate well live action on screen because of how well Marvel Studios has done and how awesome Joss Whedon did with the Avengers and things like that. There's a lot of compare and contrast. There's always been comparison and contrast of Justice League and the Avengers and Marvel and DC heroes throughout the years. That's a given. But because of the crazy success of Marvel Studios with Spider-Man, Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, and the Avengers and everything, they've really set the bar high. DC Comics has done really well with Chris Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy and what have you, and there's a lot of buzz surrounding Man of Steel. I really hope the little I say about Man of Steel is I do love Superman. He's one of my all-time favorite characters, and I honestly just want a solid Superman movie. That's what I want. A solid Superman movie. My hope is that the producers and Zack Snyder don't get so caught up in what I think a lot of us fans are worried about is that the producers of Superman and any other DC staple movie will get caught up in the rush to compete with Marvel. It's I get that it's hard in whatever medium you're in to not want to compete with other people. Good rivalry, good competition. That's what I'm saying, trying to say. I get that, but I really think, and I really hope Superman, Man of Steel will just be a solid movie that won't be too tainted by a lot of zeal to make it fit into a Justice League mold. It makes sense that they'd want to try and do that. It really does. But I really hope it didn't get too caught up in that. I heard from Latino Review that it is just a solid action sci-fi Superman movie. So my fingers are still crossed, but I I'm really hoping those sensibilities actually would translate into a future Justice League movie. To keep on what I was thinking about with Comic Book Girl 19, she said something that I think is pretty intriguing, which is she thinks again because of how immortal Justice League characters are, maybe they translate better in keeping with the animated animation look. DC animated universe has done very well the past several years with their movies, and Comic Book Girl 19 even said, why not keep in step with the DC Online game that came out a few years ago? You know, that awesome promo of like an alternate Lex Luthor or something trying to team up with the Justice League to save the world or something like that. And the CGI was really awesome, and everyone just had a great time watching Black Adam fight Green Lantern and Wonder Woman fight Metallo, and and of course Superman and Batman and Cyborg and Lex Luthor and everything. I'd be down for that. I think another plus to that would also be voice actors. It's limitless now because you don't have to worry about physicality. And at the same time, though, you might set up your movie maybe to do 10 times better because if it is animated, better yet CGI, like hopefully cutting edge CGI. I'm talking. I mean, it might be It depends on how expensive it is. Maybe even Avatar level stuff, just for, a visually pleasing image of Justice League characters duking it out CGI style. But as far as voice actors, you can throw Kevin Conroy back in there, Mark Hamill for the Joker, Tim Daly for Superman, Dana Delany, Lois Lane, Michael Rosenbaum for Flash. All those voice actors that fans love. If you were to do an animated Justice League movie, better yet, follow what Comic Book Girl 19 said of CGI, man, you throw those beloved voice talents back in there, you're on a whole nother level. Because to my knowledge, Marvel doesn't have that. Marvel gave us live action and they've done really well, but not knocking any of the actors at all. But you have to grow to like Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, because you have no, if I'm delivering this right, you have no comparison. You've had years and years of Kevin Conroy as Batman. He passed the test. We love him. Robert Downey Jr. or Chris Hemsworth as Thor, or Samuel L. as Nick Fury, Mark Ruffalo, that's a live action. It's a different animal because they have to, I guess, pass a test. Everyone was wondering, is Mark Ruffalo really a good choice, or is Heath Ledger a good choice for the Joker, and things like that. But I think what DC Comics has as an edge is they have beloved voice actors that when you see Batman, you just immediately think Kevin Conroy, to the point that you don't even want anyone else playing Batman in an animated movie because it just doesn't feel the same, from the days of, Batman the Animated Series and things like that. There's more I could say about that. My other ideas were, in keeping with the visual style, maybe I could talk about that again, because just thinking about it is just exciting. But what if you could even, if this is possible, model CGI Justice League characters after Alex Ross paintings? Get the feel and tone of that. If that's possible, to like graph CGI, marry that with the sensibilities and the style of Alex Ross and his Justice League, and his mythology books and, Justice and Injustice and things like that, you might have a blockbuster on your hands. Just in keeping with the idea of changing Justice League from live action to animated and CGI, it's just a thought. Lastly, just the idea of justice. A lot of people wonder if Chris Nolan will be attached to the Justice League, since he is producing and lending a lot of creative talents to Man of Steel. I wonder if a guy like him, who could make, the Joker a modern day terrorist, like the Unabomber and Bane and things like that, and really make Gotham and the Dark Knight feel pretty modern and pretty relatable, because of just how Chris Nolan has established himself, of the things he thinks about with social justice, with the news, with terrorism, with civility and culture and things like that. I wonder if Chris Nolan would really hammer away the idea, if he were to participate in a Justice League movie, what is justice? Because there's a little joke in the Avengers where, Tony Stark's like, we may not save the Earth, but we'll avenge it. And that I remember, even Nick Fury doesn't really explain why the initiative is called the Avengers Initiative. That might come up, it might not, people might not really care. But I wonder if it matters in a Justice League movie, where, in a world where, again, I'm hoping Justice League wouldn't compete so much with Marvel. Not so much that they are, but not so much that they aren't either. If you're on the internet and on the news listening in to constant updates about the Justice League movie, I think Justice League would also do well if they really looked at, what does justice mean to a lot of these characters? What does justice mean to Clark Kent? What does justice mean to Bruce Wayne? What is, or could a Justice League movie be spread out over 2 hours, or maybe even 2 films of exploring what is justice in this world? What do the people that the Justice Leaguers try to save, what do they need? Is it just they need to be saved from Starro, or from Darkseid, or from the Injustice Guild? Do they just need to be saved from costume freaks? Or do these villains, do they pose a threat? Really now, not just, I'm the Joker, I'm painted up and I'm scary and I'm going to kill you. Not just that. but like those sensibilities that Chris Nolan kind of tried to get across in characters like the Joker and in characters like Bane and in characters like Harvey Dent. It's about what's fair. Are things like that able to be explored in a Justice League movie? I'd really hope so, and I'd be intrigued by that because I don't want it. I would hope it wouldn't just be, hey, we're the Justice League. I'm Superman. I've got an S on my chest. Naturally, I'm the good guy, and that's all we need. I think it can go a little bit deeper than that. I think it could strike at some emotional chords in people of what if these characters also don't know? What if they're learning just like us? What if they need to learn what is justice? And could they go on maybe an existential odyssey, maybe spread out over two movies or just the first act of the movie? What is justice? What does Metropolis need? What does Gotham need? What does the world need? What kind of threat, not just physically, but emotionally would Starro or Sinestro or any of these guys really pose to real people? Those are just some of the ideas I have. It's pretty exciting. We'll see what happens with Justice League, but those are some of the things I was thinking about a Justice League movie.